They conquered more land than any empire in history. But how did they survive? We look at maps at the vast stretches of Asia and Europe the Mongols conquered, and we think of armies, of tactics, of Genghis Khan's military genius. But what about the day-to-day? What about the reality of being a Mongol warrior, not on some glorious campaign, but just existing? The Mongol army was unstoppable, but their life off the battlefield, brutal. No palaces, no luxuries, just raw survival. This wasn't an army that marched until it found supplies. This was an army that survived until it found an empire to conquer. Imagine, if you will, the Eurasian steppe. Imagine endless grasslands stretching to the horizon. Imagine a land of extremes, freezing winters that could kill a man in a single night, scorching summers baking the earth until it cracked. This wasn't a land for the soft, for the weak, for those who craved comfort. This was the land that birthed the Mongols. No permanent homes here, no cities of stone and wood, just felt-covered yurts, portable, temporary, moved with the seasons as the nomads followed their herds. And food, whatever they could find, hunt, scavenge or steal, water from rivers, from melted snow, sometimes even from the blood of their horses. The steppe was merciless, unforgiving, but it forged warriors, men as hard and unyielding as the land itself. Forget your fields of grain, your overflowing granaries. The Mongols were a people of the steppe, and the steppe offered no such luxuries, no farms, no bread, just meat, milk, and, if you could call it that, fermented drinks that would likely make a modern man recoil. Boiled horse, goat, marmot if they were lucky. More often it was dried meat, borts they called it, lightweight, preserved, carried in bags under their saddles. And then there was kumis, fermented mare's milk. Think about that for a second. Let the reality sink in. Rotten alcoholic milk. Not a treat, not a luxury, but a staple. And in desperate times, when even that ran out, they drank the blood of their own horses. A desperate measure, yes, but one that kept them alive, kept them moving, kept them fighting. They ate what they had when they had it, and they never, ever took it for granted. Chapter 3. For a Mongol warrior, training wasn't something you did for an hour a day. It was woven into the fabric of their existence. From the moment they could walk, they were riding, and from the moment they could hold a bow, they were shooting. Archery on horseback, practiced relentlessly, instinctively, until they could hit a target the size of a man's head at a full gallop. Endurance drills that would break a lesser man, riding for days without stopping, sleeping on horseback, becoming one with their mounts. Mock battles, turning boys into soldiers, children into killing machines, before they even knew what it truly meant to be afraid. Every day was preparation. Every day was training for the next war, for the next conquest, for the next challenge to their survival. Chapter 4. The Mongols didn't just fight enemies, they fought nature itself and emerged victorious. Imagine this. No campfires allowed in enemy territory, the telltale smoke a beacon to their enemies. So, how do you stay warm in the depths of winter? They'd eat raw meat, tucked under their saddles, close to their bodies, letting the heat of their own bodies slowly thaw their gruesome meal. Frozen rivers, their only source of water? No problem. They'd smash the ice with their weapons, their tools, desperate for even a mouthful of the life-giving liquid. And when the cold bit deep, when even that wasn't enough, they'd seek shelter wherever they could find it, sleeping inside animal carcasses for warmth, burying themselves in dirt for insulation. Weakness, not an option. Giving up, unthinkable. The Mongols endured. Chapter 5. In the end, the Mongols had one overarching strategy for survival, one tactic that underpinned all others. They never stopped moving. Think about it. Nomadic life, by its very nature, meant no need for supply lines, no reliance on cumbersome baggage trains. If the food ran out in one area, they moved on. If water became scarce, they packed up their yurts and moved on. This constant movement, this fluidity, made them incredibly difficult to pin down, to outmaneuver, to defeat. A moving army, after all, is very difficult to destroy. It was this relentless mobility, this refusal to be tied down, that allowed them to conquer such vast swathes of territory. The Mongols didn't just conquer, they endured. They didn't build empires on gold and silver, but on grit, determination, and an almost unimaginable capacity for hardship. No roads, no farms, no castles, just pure survival, etched into their very being. And yet, from these harsh beginnings, they built the largest contiguous land empire the world has ever seen.